Hey guys, it's Chedic, and in today's video we will be talking about all the new traps and the trap changes. Now, I think I'll be breaking this video up into segments as in ceiling traps, wall traps, and other traps, or maybe just into two parts depending on how long this video is. But the first thing we're going to be talking about is the ceiling traps. Most importantly, the gas, the king trap, the electric field, the one that's ignored, the ceiling drop trap, the one that's pitied, and the last but not least, the ceiling zapper, the one that doesn't exist. With the new update, the 12.0 update, we actually have some changes to these traps, and the ceiling gas trap actually lost its reign. I truly don't believe the ceiling gas trap is king anymore. So, let's get into it. Now, the first trap we're going to be talking about is the ceiling drop trap. Now, the ceiling drop trap actually got one of the strongest buffs in history. It's like a skinny guy went to the gym for 6 months, came back, and stole your girlfriend. So what happened to the ceiling drop trap is it got much stronger. I saw this clip in TikTok's stream, not a clip, I was in his stream watching it, and he tried out the ceiling drop traps on the ramp. What happened next was the ceiling drop traps would hit the ramp and go crazy flying towards the husks. It was insane. So, and that's because of the chaos physics system. We actually got something from that, and it's wonderful for trapping. So, on top of ramps, if you put ceiling drop traps, they will hit the ramp and bounce towards the husk, as you can see here. And it's pretty good. It'll push the husk down the ramp, do a small bit of damage. It won't do a lot of damage, but it will do impact and, you know, a little bit of recycling, which is not often able to be done on ramps. So it adds a new variety and a new piece of gameplay to trapping that we haven't had before, and I think that's really awesome. But that's not the only utility for ceiling drop traps. There's also another thing that it does. So with the chaos physics system, the ceiling drop tires now bounce. They bounce, and they can go 3 tiles high. That's a key information that will come in later. So I was testing it, and I wanted to see where would the best place to be put the ceiling drop traps. 1 tiles, 2 tiles, or 3 tiles. So at 1 tiles high, the ceiling drop traps would only bounce 2 to 3 times at minimum. And they would disappear relatively quickly. They wouldn't bounce a lot. They would be pretty condensed. They would just hit the floor and despawn. And it did kind of pitiful damage. It did good damage because this is all Canny Valley footage, but it didn't stay as long as I wanted it to. So I was like, okay, I probably will never use ceiling drop traps, but then I thought, well, why not 2 tiles high? So with 2 tiles high, the ceiling drop traps bounced more, they did more damage, and well, the bouncing was a minimum of 3 bounces, and if you're lucky, 4 bounces, and I wasn't that lucky, so it was a minimum of at least 3 bounces. So that's 3 bounces of damage and 3 bounces of impact. And then I was thinking, 1 tile was bad and 2 tiles was good. Would 3 tiles be better? Yes, 3 tiles was better, because whenever I put the ceiling drop traps 3 tiles high, their tires would bounce 4 times, doing 4 ticks of damage, 4 ticks of impact, and, well, I AFK killed a Canny Valley smasher in my endurance, and that's saying something because not my ceiling gas trap, and not my ceiling electric fields, and not my ceiling zappers could do that with a spawn kill. It's insane. It's actually a really good trap now. So if you're going to be wondering what trap to pick up, I recommend definitely perking up the ceiling drop trap. It's worth it. It's very strong on ramps, and it's very strong in spawn kills. And those are the 2 ways I would use it, on ramps and in 3 tile spawn kills, not 2 tiles, because you get maximum efficiency and maximum effectiveness at 3 tile high spawn kills. And that's the ceiling drop trap. Now let's talk about the ceiling electric fields. The ceiling electric fields actually got an astronomical buff. Before, no one would even touch these traps. It was the gas trap meta, and the gas trap was king. And now the ceiling electric fields are insane. So first things first, they're in energy, and we'll get to the damage values in a second, but let's talk about the range. As you're seeing in this footage, the ceiling electric fields can detonate from 2 tiles high. And that's perfect, because on 2 tiles high, propanes can't seem to explode, and even if they did explode, and when an epic intentionally fixes this bug, they're outside of the propane detonation range, so barely any damage will be touching your ceiling electric fields. So they're great for things like spawn kills, or anywhere where you need to use traps 2 tiles high. That's where they come in handy, and they have a 3x3 range. In total, they can cover up to 18 tiles of damage which is insane. And that range is crazy because it can hit every husk in that range, I'm sure, or maybe like a limit of 6 to 7, but that's 6 to 7 ticks of damage that the Ceiling Electric does with one activation. And now let's talk about the damage, because we're getting into the damage. So my guildmate Pascal, he did some testing, and I believe this man, I believe him, so I could take his word, and hopefully you could take his word. The Ceiling Electric Field's damage is like this. It does 92% damage on nature husks, 100% damage on physical husks, 125% damage on water husks, and 50% on fire husks. If you want to compare that to the old king, the gas trap, well, the gas trap did 50% on nature husks, 100% on physical, 50% on water, and 50% on fire. The only place this trap actually contends with the Ceiling Gas and actually might lose out is on fire husks. Everywhere else, the Ceiling Electric Field is king. And that's pretty crazy. Now let's go talk about the next trap, the Ceiling Gas Trap. So the Ceiling Gas Traps actually got a nerf, and it really sucks because everything got a buff, and I don't think the Ceiling Gas Traps are king anymore, and I've been saying that quite a bit. So let's begin. The damage nerf was a real punch in the nuts for the Ceiling Gas Trap because I saw at least a 10 or 20% decrease in the damage, and that was kind of threatening because the Ceiling Gas Trap got nerfed before, and before that too. So it's just a barrage of nerfs to bring it in line with the other traps. But it's kind of not doing that, it's doing the opposite, making them obsolete. So the Ceiling Gas Trap actually does the most damage when a husk is in the gas for a long period of time. And the only time a husk is in the gas for a long period of time is when it's underneath a tar pit. So when it's on a tar pit in the gas trap combo, it does 5 ticks of damage. When it's with the wooden floors back in the gas trap, it does 4 ticks of damage. And when there's no floor trap and it's just the gas trap, it does 3 ticks of damage. Ticks of damage are how many times you see the damage numbers pop up. And that's it. That's the only time you could really use the Ceiling Gas Trap effectively is when it's underneath a tar pit. And I guess you duplication players are like, oh, that's cool, let me just go flex my duplication. I really lost my muscle. And and just put tar pits and gas traps on your category 4s. Yeah, I guess that's what you could do, but it's expensive and useless and not worth it when the Ceiling Electric Field does it better. So really, what's the point? So yeah, the only place I can see the Ceiling Gas Trap being used is in the old David Dean timeout chamber, and that's kind of useless in this meta when everything isn't revolving around damage like that. It's like the timeout chamber is not really used, but that's the only place it can be used, and that's really unfortunate for the Ceiling Gas Trap. It can't be used in spawn kills anymore because propanes will blow it up, and it can't be used, and there's no reason to because the Ceiling Electric Field and the Ceiling Drop Trap do it better. So where does the Ceiling Gas Trap belong? In my timeout chamber or in the collection book? And that's a shame. So now let's talk about the final trap, the Ceiling Zapper. Now, honestly, the Ceiling Zapper is my new favorite trap. Honestly, I love it too much, and I said honestly twice, but let's talk about it. So the Ceiling Zapper got the energy treatment, and it got the same damage values as the Ceiling Electric Field, as you can see. I hope those values are right, Pascal. If not, I'm gonna get flamed, but let's move on. Unfortunately, the Ceiling Zapper did not get the vertical range buff or the horizontal thing like the Ceiling Electric Field. It hits in a 1x1 tile for a lot of damage. And if I mean a lot of damage, I mean 500,000. And that's a lot of damage. But it's really not good for spawn kills because it's not going to take out all those targets, but it's really good after spawn kills. Once you're done with your spawn kills, sprinkle some Ceiling Zappers into your tunnels and it'll take care of all the big boy targets. That 500,000 on a smasher? Whew, that's gonna do some real big damage. And that will take care of propaners, flingers, blasters, anything. It's the perfect trap to use in your tunnel after all the stragglers get through, or just something to kill some really high HP targets. It's too powerful for what it is, and yeah, that's really about it. And that's truly about it. That's all I know about the ceiling traps, and I can tell you, the true meta of the ceiling traps. Ceiling drop traps, ceiling electric field, ceiling zapper, gas trap. That's how it's gonna go from now on, and that's the meta. Unfortunately, the ceiling electric field is not as good as the ceiling drop trap because the drop trap has impact and the ceiling electric field doesn't, so it won't stun the targets. The ceiling drop traps will keep the targets getting damaged and stun them so they can hit them even more. It's kind of a bully trap if you ask me. And done rating the traps, all I want to say now is thank you guys for watching. If you did like this video, don't forget to like a comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Love y'all, and toodles.